Great honor to be here today with our distinguished ambassadors and Governor Dean. I am fiercely bipartisan. I don't have a party affiliation. I've always believed that the military of the United States should have that position, whether you're on active duty or retired. And I do think that we are at a crossroads in our history. Crossroads between two vastly different centuries, the 20th and the 21st. And the challenges of the 21st century, while seem to be void of the threat of World War III, nonetheless present very, very serious challenges to our way of life and our values. The rise of non-state actors, the rise of terrorist organizations, the rapid transmission of information all over the world. These things have changed the landscape. And many times, our governments and our institutions were formed for the 20th century, where you had a very, very clearly delineated border, if you will. But today, the world is in chaos in terms of the number of events that are going on in a 24-hour calendar are amazing. But some things haven't changed. And one thing that hasn't changed is, in my view, the Middle East is still the most dangerous region in the world. The Israeli-Palestinian peace process remains, in my view, at the epicenter of what needs to be resolved. Now, we could be here all day talking about why it hasn't been done, but it needs to be done. And I think Secretary Kerry is correct in focusing a lot of his energies, along with some of my former colleagues like General John Allen and others, to really try to move this forward once and for all. The situation with Iraq and Iran, very, very important issues that we shouldn't underestimate. In 2003, we did approach the MEK. We did ask them to lay down their arms. We did ask them to consolidate in one camp called Camp Ashraf. And we did guarantee in writing to each citizen, each member of the MEK, that they would receive the protection of the United States. The fact that we turned over the status of forces agreement was not agreed to with the Iraqi government, and we withdrew our forces, in no way, in my view, abdicates our responsibility for that protection. There have been 7 attacks going back to 2009 on these people. 4 have been at Camp Liberty. 3 have been at Camp Ashraf. 116 people have been killed, and 1,200 or so have been wounded. Sometimes cause great head scratching in other areas around the Middle East as to what our policy is and how we explain it and how we justify it towards Iran and Iraq. Iraq in particular, because Prime Minister Maliki has announced his support for Bashar Assad in Syria and has clearly been more than cozy with the Iranians. My personal view is that where the MEK is concerned, despite the fact that we asked them to move from Camp Ashraf to Camp Liberty because it would only be temporary, expecting that there would be relocation, that relocation has not happened. So this tremendous moral issue continues to nag at us, and for people like us who have grown up thinking that at the end of the day, this country will always do the right thing, we're still waiting for the right thing to happen. The threat of the nuclear program in Iran is very serious. It's a country that exports terrorism, supports terrorism. There's no reason to think that if they acquired that capability, they wouldn't export it to a non-state actor like Hezbollah, for example. And ladies and gentlemen, if that day comes to pass, the world that you and I have lived in and enjoyed will change. It'll change forever, and it will change in a very bad way. The next round of negotiations is expected to be held in New York. And the Obama administration has estimated the sanctions relief as a result of what has been already agreed to will amount to $7 billion. This relief began on the 20th of January, the implementation date of the Joint Plan of Action, and Iran has stopped enrichment of uranium to 20% and disconnected, not dismantled, but disconnected centrifuges. I'm not here to defend that. I'm not here to tell you that I know anything about the negotiations, except that on the one hand, this is a very important matter for the world. It has global significance. Proliferation is one of the key issues of our time. And on the other hand, we have this moral imperative to do what's right by people we made our commitment to, and there were only 2,900 left. My personal view is that Iran really doesn't want them to leave Iraq, because having them all in one place makes it very easy to target. And if Iraq is complicit in turning, either participating in or turning the other cheek when these things happen, then you just have a stage set for the systematic annihilation of 2,900 people, and that is morally offensive and not what we stand for and not what we want to see happen. So I hope that in the months ahead we can generate the interest that's needed to do the right thing and to rise above letting groups who are oppressed by any definition continue to be oppressed, and in the case of the MEK, to be systematically massacred. The massacre of unarmed men, women, and children is not tolerable. These are not terrorists. As the governor pointed out, these are citizens who are educated, who have suffered, and who deserve a better opportunity to live in freedom. And I can think of no better country to set that example than the United States of America. Thank you very much.